Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. That's it. With your eyes closed, noticing that you can pay more attention to the sound of my voice, allowing your mind to convert these words into memories, ideas, meanings, and sensations that create powerful, positive changes in your life. I want you to imagine that your life follows a line from birth all the way to the present, and then imagine it splitting off into many different lines into your future. And while the line from your past to your present is a straight line, your future represents infinite possibilities. And one of those possibilities is that nothing at all changes. You just follow the same trajectory from the past to the present and into the future. But of course, that means that some of the things that you experience every now and then that aren't so positive would continue to be there on that future timeline. But I want you to imagine if a few subtle changes took place in the present, that would change the trajectory of that line, creating a future where more of the things that you want to happen would happen, and less of the things you don't want to happen wouldn't happen. I want you to accept the suggestion that changes in the present alters the future. And I want you to get a sense that your future is a bright future, an optimistic future, a positive future. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're breathing in a bright, vibrant color that represents optimism and positivity. Maybe it's yellow or orange. A bright, vibrant color, and imagine that goes in through your nose into your lungs, filling your body with a feeling of optimism and positivity. And then imagine, as you exhale, seeing a darker color leave your body in your outward breath, maybe grey, shadowy. I want this to represent not only any stress or tension that's leaving your body, but also any negativity or pessimism. Almost imagine this like a resourceful transfusion, optimistic, resourceful, positive emotions going into your body. And then anything unuseful, unresourceful is leaving your body in your outward breath. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, feel yourself becoming deeper and deeper relaxed and more optimistic and positive about the future. That's it. The deeper you breathe, the more of this optimism and positivity goes in through your nose into your lungs. And the deeper you breathe out, the more of that pessimism, negativity, stress, anxiety leaves your body in your outward breath. giving you a sense of feeling lighter, with more energy, with more positivity, recharging your own batteries, giving you a sense of lightness, like you're starting to be filled with helium, not carrying the heaviness, but carrying a lightness into your future. I want you to imagine that you're walking down a spiral staircase. This could be an iron spiral staircase, a wooden spiral staircase, or even made of stone. And as you imagine going down this spiral staircase, I want it to represent going down to a deeper part of your subconscious mind. In fact, I'll count down from 10 to 1, and with each descending number, you will imagine going further and further down the spiral staircase and feeling deeper and deeper relaxed. Starting to count. 10. Eyelids feeling heavier and heavier. Releasing any tension around your eyes. 9. Muscles in your forehead, around your temple. Any stress that you can feel around your head or inside your head, just release that on your next outward breath. That's it. 10 goes to 9, and then 8, feeling any tension being released in your jaw as you continue to walk down that spiral staircase. 7, continue to keep walking down the spiral staircase as any tension in your neck and your shoulders just feels like it's melting away. 6, keep walking down as you feel more and more relaxed in your arms, from your shoulders all the way down to your fingers. Arms feeling limp, loose, heavy. That's it. And then 6 goes to 5 as you breathe in. Just imagine your internal organs are all relaxing. Heart relaxes. Lungs relax. Stomach relaxes. All the way into your gut. As 4, your gut starts to release any feelings of anxiety, any tightness. Just feel full of optimism and positivity, whatever that color was that represented optimism. Feel it glowing in your lungs and glowing in your gut, giving you a sense of feeling immensely positive and optimistic. 4, and then 3, allow that feeling of relaxation to go into your legs as you continue to walk down the spiral staircase. Down, deeper down. 3, and then 2, legs feeling limp, loose, heavy. That's it. All the way down to the bottom of that spiral staircase. 2, and then 1, and imagine there is a door at the bottom of the spiral staircase, and it takes you to a picturesque golf course on a sunny day with blue skies, and you have the golf course entirely to yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, opening the door and finding yourself there, out on that golf course. Feel deeply connected with a feeling of peace, calm, and mindfulness. See the manicured greens, the long fairways. I want you to imagine you're playing the best golf you've ever played, feeling that connection with nature, feeling that connection with the cleanness, the freshness of the air. And just imagine you're walking on the golf course, deeply connected to a feeling of calm, mindful relaxation, and peace. I want you to get a sense that you can access this feeling by taking a deep breath in through your nose and then slowly exhaling on the outward breath. In through your nose, out through your nose, slowly, deliberately. And I want you to imagine someone is there on this golf course that would normally have the ability to annoy you or irritate you. But I want you to imagine the harder they try to annoy you or irritate you, the more it feels like you can breathe in their words, their intentions, and just exhale them on your very next breath. I want you to imagine, in the same way that a filtration pump can clean dirty water and pump out clean water, your breath now has the ability to take any words, any actions that might have in the past annoyed or irritated you. Just imagine that you can breathe in that feeling of irritation, but when you exhale, you're back to feeling calm and mindful and relaxed. I want you to imagine that you're now creating a force field around you. Maybe think of cartoons or science fiction movies that you've seen where the superhero builds a force field around them. Maybe glowing, semi-transparent, energetic. Maybe it looks like a bubble or a field of energy. In addition to your ability to breathe in feelings or intentions that might be perceived to be annoying, and you could simply cleanse them and turn them into a feeling of nothingness, calm and peace, water off a duck's back. I want you to imagine also you are now surrounded by an energetic force field that reduces any emotional triggers by 98%. In the past, you've used high protection suntan lotion, and you get the idea. The sun still reaches your skin, but only a tiny percentage of the UV radiation will have any effect on you. And you don't even have to imagine this force field being around you. I want you to imagine it automatically activates whenever it's needed. Your unconscious knows how to do that. And therefore, whenever anyone, whether intentionally or not, has the ability to provoke you, I want you to imagine only a tiny percentage of their intention or your misunderstanding of their intention will ever get to you. Meaning that you still have the ability to figure out what's happening and to make deliberate, conscious choices what to do with it without feeling emotionally triggered. I want you to imagine now that you're surrounded by maybe 2, 3, even 4 people that in the past on your timeline had the ability to trigger you. And imagine they're paid £1 million each to provoke you into having an emotional reaction, to be irritated, annoyed, to lose your temper. But I want you to accept, the harder they try, the more effective your force field becomes, and the better you become at accessing this state of calm, peace, and mindfulness. Imagine it's a game. They win the game if they get you to have an emotional reaction, and you win the game if you can remain unfazed, unbothered, unruffled. And maybe they're all trying it at the same time, or maybe they take it in turns to try and trigger you, try and provoke an emotional reaction. But the more they try, the better you become at defending yourself and neutralizing their triggers. And create an image in your mind of a light switch without any cables connected to a light bulb. The switch could be pressed, but nothing happens. As you imagine these people trying to put you off, say certain things, criticize you, amplify it so you could even imagine them doing it even more extreme than they would normally do in reality. But the harder they try, the more effective you get at neutralizing their triggers. Imagine them continuing to do that. As you recall a time, maybe from your childhood or teenage years, where you were hanging around with friends and there would be playful banter. The kind of things where you would criticize and cajole. Try and provoke people with comments or laugh about their misfortunes. But I want you to recall that it wasn't what was said, but the intention connected to it. Back then, you weren't bothered by stuff. I want you to tap into that free-spirited part of you. That part of you that is playful and silly. Someone could swear at you, criticize you, and remember how easily you could just laugh that off. I want you to imagine a time where you were at your most playful, your most silly, and imagine you're back at that version of you, re-experiencing what you experienced back then. And just imagine wiggling your toes. Be that version of you being playful and silly, and wiggle your toes. And then think of another time you were playful and silly. Relive that moment, and where you feel at your silliest, at your most playful, wiggle your toes. And just get a sense that sometimes people smile when they're happy, and sometimes people feel happy when they smile, and that it doesn't matter which order it happens, because the two things are connected. And as you start to wiggle your toes whenever you feel silly, you accept the suggestion that wiggling your toes can put you in a silly, playful mood whenever you choose, because it's not something that people normally do. And I want you to imagine that you are now in an environment where someone might try and trigger you. Know that you have that ability to breathe in and breathe out any feelings of stress or irritation. Except also that you have this invisible force field that will dilute any negative emotional triggers, but also, once you evaluate that someone is trying to trigger you in some way, take a deep breath in, wiggle your toes, feel like any stress or irritation is leaving your body, and notice that you immediately feel more playful and silly. And the more they try and provoke you, the more playful you can become. They might get even more frustrated. But resist the temptation of playing their game and instead of playing your own. Be silly, playful, so that the words of other people are like water off a duck's back. You can be you, optimistic and positive. You know who you are. And why would you change your emotional state just because other people want you to be in a different state of mind? Once you have this feeling of optimism, positivity, and playfulness, the force field will protect it. The breathing in and out will deflect it. And activating more of this playfulness will diffuse it, giving you numerous tools to keep you in a positive and optimistic frame of mind whenever you need it most. And then imagine you're back out there on the golf course all by yourself, feeling optimistic and positive. And I want you to think about your future. A compelling, desirable, positive future. You get to be authentically you, knowing that just because you're optimistic doesn't mean a perfect life. Optimism means that you have a feeling that things will work out okay and positive for your future, creating a powerful self-fulfilling prophecy, an expectation that when good things happen, you increase the probability of good things happening. Tap into all those wonderful feelings of optimism and positivity. Trust your intuition to protect you from negative triggers, but also trust yourself that you can diffuse negative triggers even if you do start to get riled up. That you can let things go with a breath or with your toes. That if things get under your skin, you can just imagine breathing it out of your body so it's no longer there. When your unconscious mind accepts that you now have tools and strategies to keep you in a good mood and to stop you staying in a bad mood, just let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine somewhere on the golf course is a door. Not connected to a building, it's just a door there on the golf course. Take a deep breath in, breathing in that fresh air from this place in nature. Open the door and see a spiral staircase. Imagine walking up the spiral staircase and noticing that you are sat in a chair at the top of that spiral staircase in the present. But you are bringing the version of you from the future that now has created a different timeline for your future. A future of more positive and optimistic things and less consequences of emotional triggers. Step into that version of you so you're fully associated into the present, bringing on all of these strategies, new ways of thinking and resources, particularly the resource of optimism and positivity with you. As you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, but also wiggle your toes, creating that feeling of playfulness, that free spirit nature, as you accept that all of this are thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.